This is Viterbi Voices, your chance to hear stories about research, classes, student life, and more.
Directly from our students, faculty, and other members of our engineering community. All right here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
Welcome back into the Viterbi Voices podcast. This is episode
126.
And as usual, I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Director of Undergraduate Admission at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
My name is Audrey Roberts. I'm a junior studying mechanical engineering here at USC.
And
hello, my name is Luz Camacho, and I am also a junior studying computer engineering and computer science at USC.
Awesome. And Luz, you bring us a whole episode here. What is this episode all about?
So I got the chance to interview the president for Code the Change, one of our student-run organizations on campus. And, you know, Code the Change, the whole purpose is like building free software for nonprofits. And we kind of like investigated how they actually propagate change in both the individual at the organization level and also to like the greater LA community.
Well, that is awesome. Well, this is going to be a really cool episode, especially for those of you that are interested in programming and also making a difference. It's not just about making an app to make $1 million. So let's get into the episode, and then Luz, just stick around for the back end of the podcast so we can discuss it and learn a little bit more.
Of course.
All right. We'll see you on the other side.
For you.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
That's a loaded question for week 5 of the semester.
Yeah, I really feel that.
I feel like
we're chugging along.
No one's doing very well because like you're finally getting into the groove of things, but like the groove of things is like still different from everything else you've done.
Yeah.
Part
of it feels good though. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to in October, but
oh yeah,
it's also midterm season.
Season,
it's
conference season, job season.
Yeah, I know you're going to Grace Hopper next week.
I know. I'm really excited.
I'm excited for you.
I want to be excited, but life in school doesn't let me be excited. But it's fine. It's fine.
It's totally fine. It'll be worth it.
This isn't about me. This is about you.
Oh, it's about me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you tell the audience who you are, what you're up to on the Viterbs?
The Viterbs.
The Viterbs.
So my name is Jessica. I came to USC not as a computer science major, but finally switched into Viterbi at the end of last semester. So I'm now a computer science major on campus. I'm involved in Los Angeles Community Impact, which is a pro bono consulting organization. And I'm also in Code the Change. We build software for nonprofits. And this year, I'm serving as Code the Change president.
I was about to say, like, oh, I'm in Code the Change. I'm like, oh, wow. It's almost like she isn't the president or something.
Wait, I never say that I'm the president unless, like, someone tells me to.
Why not? Own it. You should own it.
I think, you know what's really crazy? Because I think it's, like, a girl thing. Where, like, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm, like, studying CS. Or, like, oh, I was working in Seattle over the summer, or like
just casually, right?
I'm like in CTC, but you never like go above and beyond to like explain your actual accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm making you do it now. Explain it. So you're the president of Code the Change. What is that? Oh my God, I have never heard of it online, but like other people might not have heard of it. So how about you give me a little quick rundown of what that is?
Sure. So Code the Change is a student organization on campus, and we build full stack and fully functional software for nonprofits. We have year-long projects, and we have teams that work with nonprofits in the LA area. So those are our clients essentially, and we work with them to identify their need and figure out ways we can create technology that will help them grow their impact exponentially. Each team has people with a variety of different skill sets. So we have our developers, of course, who build the projects. We have designers who create like high fidelity mock-ups and wireframes of the projects. And then we have product managers who manage team workflow and client communication throughout the year. They kind of set the project specifications and make sure that the projects get implemented.
That is a lot of different things, and you run all of it.
No, it's definitely not me that runs all of it.
Well, I'm exaggerating to an extent, but like that's like super cool.
Wait, you can't say that I run all of it because I feel like most of the work is done by like people who are not me. Like I feel like I oversee things and have like a lot of ideas for how Code the Change will change. Change this year. But like eBoard has done so much, and like product managers and tech leads really control all of the projects.
Yeah.
So
group effort.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So how long have you been in this org?
Yeah, so I joined as a product manager at the end of my freshman year. So I was recruited to be a product manager for sophomore year, but Code the Change recruits non-developer roles in the spring. So like product managers and designers are recruited in the spring so that they can kind of get onboarded, adjust to Code the Change culture, and be in touch with their client before the school year starts so that we're ready to hit the ground running when developers are kind of like back at school. And it was really crazy for me because I didn't expect to get the role at the time, and I don't think I've ever faced like such a large learning curve for anything. I came into CTC just kind of like really looking up to every single person I met, but every single person has taught me something new since I've been in the org. And I've just been so constantly inspired by the work that everyone's able to do and their passion for social impact and like dedication to their own growth and the growth of other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the whole point, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Change in more than just your outside world. Change you.
Yeah, it's definitely twofold. Yeah. It's our community, and it's like our greater LA community, and I guess like the world's community as a whole, and then like the CTC community.
For sure. Like you mentioned though, like before you had clients. What's clients? That's such a neat word to throw around, right? So like, can you tell me, like, I'm assuming you've been with CTC. You've been with CTC for a while now, and I'm sure you've had like a project or two under you. So like, can you maybe like talk about your favorite one and what that process like kind of looked like, and like what just kind of like a focus on like the impact on, I guess, the greater LA area you mentioned. So like, do you have a favorite project you've worked on or overseen? You don't even have to necessarily be directly in it.
Yeah, so I think I can speak most closely to the client that I worked with last year. They were Climate Sense, and what they wanted to be is sort of the environmental nonprofit of environmental nonprofits. They identified this problem where there were just so many different organizations asking for donations through kind of like dated mechanisms, like cold calls, email campaigns, like just like letters sent to different households. And so we kind of wanted to challenge that and revolutionize that in a way. And so we built something similar to a Kickstarter for environmental nonprofits and their campaigns. So on our app, you get to explore different environmental campaigns. You get to see what your friends are donating to. You can follow their activity, join different teams to find ways to raise money. And one of my favorite parts of what we built is that after you donate to a campaign, you constantly receive updates on the impact your donation has made. And so to back that mobile app, we also built like a web admin dashboard for nonprofits to submit campaigns, push updates to donors, and then we had another dashboard for our client, Climate Sense, to be able to manage everything that happened. So it's kind of like different layers of kind of like administration that our app existed on.
That's so cool. Like so like what did that process look like though? Like the general rundown, I'm sure you didn't get from A to B that easily, right?
Yeah. So I think I was really lucky to have like great points of contact within Climate Sense to work with.
Right.
So it was basically Nick and Kenny, who are the founders of Climate Sense, that I got to talk to basically every week. We started talking over the summer. We went over kind of everything that they had been through so far, how the organization was founded, the struggles that they were facing, and kind of like acquiring new donors, getting visits to their website, particularly repeat visits as well.
Right.
And so we kind of worked with them to kind of spec out a project that would fit their needs and goals as an organization. It was super interesting because unlike some of our other clients, Climate Sense was newer and growing, so it was easy to be in touch with kind of everyone that was involved within like the projects that they were working on. And so Jerry, who was the technical lead I was working on, and I, at the beginning of the year, spent an entire day, maybe 8 to 10 hours, kind of like ideating, writing out kind of like product specifications. We defined like what was our minimum viable product that we wanted to deliver. We came up with technical specifications. He came up with like the tech stack that we would be working with. And from there, we were ready to bring in our designer to kind of like wireframe out some ideas.
Right.
And it was just a constant cycle of iterating on that with our client. And then when we were releasing project iterations as well, we'd bring our client into kind of like our like circle of communication. He'd give us feedback, and we'd be able to kind of like make changes based on what they wanted. They were super great because they always wanted to know more about the team. They would like take us out to dinner. They would hang out with us. Yeah, they were super great. And I feel super lucky to have gotten to work with them and on our project.
Right. Yeah. No, that sounds so collaborative. Like, I really like the fact that you mentioned that there was like not only the clients giving you feedback, but like you were there writing documents and like kind of guiding the direction of the project. Then you had your designers and your tech leads and obviously the developers that fall under that. So like super collaborative, it seems like, right?
Yeah, everyone on the team was just so crucial to the project's success. It was just crazy like what everyone was able to bring, and also how close everyone got throughout the year. I'd say like I spent so much time with my team, and I think of like everyone on it as some of my closest friends now.
I love that. We love that. We love collaboration. Yeah, that's like super cool. And like, you know, A to B, you kind of went through the process. Where is Climate Sense now? Like, have you checked in at all? How do you guys keep track of like, how do you guys measure success in that regard? You know, like I think something as like crucial as like social change that, you know, Code the Change tries to bring about, that's kind of hard to measure. So like, how do you guys go about doing that?
So we did a full handoff over the summer. So our project kind of cut into the end of the school year just with polish work.
Right.
And so we handed them in kind of like instructions for deployment. We like just basically did a full handoff, wrote out the specifications for the project, like all of like the technical details, what needed to be worked on, and how they could expand on our project in the future, as well as like potential ideas for expansion as well. This is one thing that I wish that I'm like very curious to see how Code the Change could change in the future. I think it's one of the biggest problems that nonprofits face is not having access to kind of like engineering talent and like a team of developers in general.
Yeah.
And I think that in order to have true impact, projects that do need to be maintained over time.
Right, yeah.
Especially because even though I love the features we were able to come up with for our app, like I would use it, I think my friends would use it, I think that I would want to see more over time, and without a team of developers, it would be hard to see that happen.
Right.
And so what I really want to push for is being able to find a way to kind of like maintain these projects more deeply. And it would have to be a balance between that and also providing an experience that would really grow our developers. So I think that's one of the big goals for this year.
I love that you're thinking about change within an organization whose whole thing is change.
Yeah, because impact is like one of our core values.
Right.
And so we're always looking on ways to expand on this. We started out sending kind of like surveys to our old clients this year, just to see, asking them about like particular metrics that we think define success and ultimately impact in our projects. And so with this information, I hope that we can make Code the Change projects more impactful in the future and ultimately more sustainable and scalable.
That's so cool. Like, okay, so change in the outside world, change in the org. Okay, I think we're missing something. How about, you know where I'm going, change in you. Like, how do you think, like, you're in a position, you've been in positions of leadership and you've kind of like worn a couple of different hats. I heard you took like technical tickets sometimes and there was like work to do. So like,
who told you that? I really tried my best.
Yeah, but that's something, you know, you've definitely worn a lot of different hats in the organization. So like, I'm kind of wondering about you now, like, how do you think this org has shaped your experience at USC and like kind of like you as a person? Because I could definitely point to my orgs and just like, well, yeah, I'm a completely fundamentally different person now because of the people and the things that we do in this org, right? So.
When you mentioned people, and I'd say like it's people that have pushed me most.
Right.
They, like I said, I joined Code the Change at the end of my freshman year. So scared. I'd never been more scared for a role in my entire life. But the people in CTC have made me believe that I can do anything. And like, I feel so lucky to like have come across this opportunity. I think so much more of like the impact that we should all like strive to create because of the people I've met in CTC and the work that I've seen done. And like, I mentioned this before, but one of my favorite parts of CTC is seeing people with like such different skill sets. I know we're called Code the Change, but I think it's so important to remember like what everyone brings to the table beyond like the different roles, like designer, developer, product manager, but just like everyone's like little quirks and like talents that are so unexpected. So like, for example, like the tech lead on my team the tech lead that was on my team last year, Jerry, who I mentioned before, is one of the most avid readers that I've ever met. And one of the developers, like Nihar, and also Teresa, taught me so much about personal finance.
Oh my god, like she's budgeting.
I know. My passion for compound interest is just through the roof these days.
That's insane. Love that for you. I really do. That's great. No, that's awesome. I think that's like a very special thing about the virtue of like coming to like a smaller, you know, like engineering school. I don't think about how small Viterbi is until I recognize like 50% of the people that I bump into on the way to class.
It's like you're walking into the computer science lab and
you're
it's
like, oh, there's like 50 of my friends.
That's all of my friends.
You slack off and you get nothing done. It's a boon and a curse, right? So,
yeah, it's all those things.
Yeah, I think by virtue of that, I know a lot of people in CTC, and you know, like you start making these interpersonal bonds, and it just devolves into like you learning from each other. But yeah, I really love that. So we went through 3 levels of abstraction.
Oh wait, I want to add one more thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And like these people have not only made me believe that everyone can do anything, but also they've like pushed me to take so much more initiative for myself. So whether that's like doing things for the team, like going out of my way for the client, I take kind of like that mental framework of always like being one step ahead in like everything that I do.
Yeah, I think that really sums it up, right? So
Yeah.
3 levels of extraction that we went through,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like change on the real social level.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, your climate sense. Climate is kind of an important topic nowadays.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And then like kind of change on the group scale. Like you've mentioned that you have a lot of ideas on like how Code the Change could be better. Change for Code the Change. Wow. Oh my God. Call me a poet. And then, like change in you. Like that's super awesome. And you know, I really appreciate you kind of like taking the time to share that experience. I know it's like very personal sometimes.
No,
don't get me.
I love talking about
yeah,
Code the
no,
Change.
we love talking about the things that have a positive effect on our lives. Oh my God, crazy. But yeah, no, I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Any parting words for people who want to make this kind of impact with their engineering degrees? Because sometimes you don't think about like, hey, I'm learning these very useful and vital skills.
Yeah. I think I would love for everyone to kind of like give Code the Change like a look, but beyond that, I feel like computer science and engineering gives you a toolbox for both solving problems and building things. And I think that's so powerful. And like with that toolbox, there's so much that every single person can do. And I know the effect that like I mentioned that people are like the people in CTC have changed me most. Like I think that anyone can have like that kind of impact on like anyone else's lives. Like I'd really encourage like reaching out to like younger students in CS. I know that I was so lost when I came. Like I said, I wasn't a computer science major, but really like the older computer science students I met really inspired me. Like not just the ones in Code the Change. Like for example, like the undergraduate TAs in my classes, like really made me believe that I could finish CPs. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should say
yeah,
CPs.
You totally say it. We love our course producers.
Yeah, the course producers in my classes really made me believe that I could finish the assignments. My professors offered me so many resources. I feel what I love about computer science is like, in addition to the toolbox thing, is like once you gain the foundations, like the world is basically your oyster. It's like, I think it's one of the majors with the lowest like barriers of expansion, a barrier to entries, and also barriers of expansion, because there are so many resources online to learn kind of like anything you can think of. I wish I could like really get a scope of what this is, but I'll just give examples that come to the top of my mind, like machine learning, web development, like data analytics, product management. All of those are so accessible to you as someone with like kind of like a technical foundation built. And like if you have an idea, you have the power to go after it. Right. You don't have to, like, as much as I would love for everyone to be in Code the Change, like you don't have to have that kind of impact on like the world and people around you. Like, yeah, I think that's so special. And that's something that like USC has really taught me. And like, I love Viterbi for that. And I love Viterbi for pushing people. And I believe that like people can push themselves and like create whatever impact they can imagine.
I love that so much. I doubly endorse that whole spiel. I love that. No, yeah, thank you so much. That was a way better answer than I was actually expecting. Thank you for exceeding my expectations. I love that.
Yes, of course.
But thanks, Jess. Thank you for taking the time to speak on
Thanks, Luz.
the things that you are passionate about. And yeah, I think this is a real big piece of yourself that people can take home.
Oh,
And
yeah.
hopefully people learn a thing or two about social impact.
If anyone's listening, like, thank you for listening until this point.
People
Wow.
listen, Jess. We do this. Right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Of course. Bye, Luz.
Bye.
All right, Code the Change. Luz, what was your favorite, or what was your favorite part about this conversation that you've had?
Just kind of listening to the president talk about the individuals in the organization. You could tell that she like just really just knew like so many little quirks and little things about people, and you only kind of get to that level of familiarity by spending a lot of time with people.
Lots of care.
But my little heart is warmed.
Awesome. And what did you not know about Code the Change that you learned as a result of this conversation?
Yeah, so like I always, as I've interacted with members of the organization, they always like throw around like kind of like terms like clients and like, you know, different terms about like the software development process. And I think we kind of went into explicit detail as to like from like how do they get from idea to finished product at the end. So we kind of like took it from point A to point B all the way through. So that I kind of learned their whole process.
Right.
Awesome.
What was the in the like future projects that they kind of have coming up? What are you most excited about?
I'm excited to see them implement some of the new ideas that Jessica, the president, has for the organization. So she mentioned how she wants to keep connecting with the software that they have made in the past. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to go about like measuring the actual change that their applications and software is bringing about.
That's awesome. Very cool.
That's a cool idea. I like the idea of like connecting with a product and really following it through, because I think oftentimes we can sort of get something done and abandon it forever. So,
Yeah.
It is a big difference to actually be dealing in the real world rather than for some sort of assignment that is encapsulated inside of a semester. And this idea of creating something that can live on. And they've done some amazing projects over the years, and it's good to see that the growth is still there. And this idea of engaging in the community and making sure that they're making a difference is awesome, because more often than not, I made the joke at the beginning of the podcast that this idea of a student going into computer science is just the idea of immediate gratification. Make a product, make an app, make a service, make the money and get out. Especially when there's such a trend of these quick exits out of some sort of software technology that gets acquired by another company. It's good to see that there are students here that are interested in making a direct impact with the work that they do, and hopefully making a lasting kind of presence in the software that they're creating, especially for communities that desperately need it. Yeah,
no, definitely. And, you know, measuring something as intangible as social change is a challenge in and of itself. So I'm excited for them.
Awesome. Really cool. Are you doing anything as a result of this differently, or is there stuff that you've known or that you wanted to do?
I think like the hearing how they're trying to engage more with like their own product has like been directly reflected by the type of work I've kind of done in the professional side. So like I've definitely been more conscious about like things like code health and like whether the things that I write are sustainable and can be used by other people. And if I write something and like 2 semesters down the road, I might need that piece of code that I wrote, I can actually go back, just use it, not have to struggle with like trying to apply it in different contexts. So like that is also a really big idea in like big software, the idea that you're writing code, not just for the product or yourself, for like your team and other people. So kind of reflective in that way.
That's great. Very cool. Now, update our listen. You've been on the podcast before, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how many? This is episode 2 for you. Episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 2. Okay. So update people on where you are in your process. You're a junior, and where were you had an internship this past summer. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was at Google, down in Seattle, and up in Seattle.
Well, it depends on where you're listening from.
Depends.
If you're in Vancouver, it's down in Seattle.
It's true.
Yeah.
All about point of reference.
Yeah, for me, for sunny LA, definitely up.
Up in Seattle.
And I was working on a research and development team, on their kind of AR VR team called Google Daydream. And
Google Daydream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have lots of T-shirts now that say
Really?
that. Yeah. And I was kind of working on non-disclosure stuff.
Yeah, stuff you can't talk about.
New stuff, but that I can't talk about, but like can vibrate in excitement about, and hopefully I get to see in a
Okay.
couple years.
Vibrate in excitement. I think I'm gonna use that
Wow.
phrase.
Wow. Now, without breaking your NDA,
Yeah.
because we don't want that to happen, is Google Daydream the name of a product or the name of the research group?
It's the name of like Google's kind of broken up into different organizations. Google
Yeah.
Daydream is just the shorthand name for like their AR VR.
R&D. AR, VR.
Yeah.
AR, VR stuff.
So the
Okay.
R&D work I was doing was under AR VR. And what I can say, and I memorized this because like they gave me a sheet and like this is the stuff you can say.
Okay.
I was on a research and development team working on 3D human capture and rendering.
Oh, cool.
Wow. So
Doesn't mean I did that stuff, but I mean like, hey, I was on a team that did that stuff and I really did help support them.
So you can either
engage with the
confirm or
product.
deny the following statement, but things like phones being able to capture those types of things in real life, in real time.
I'm not going to say nothing.
You're not going to say anything, but like
None.
those types of really cool
Yeah.
AR, VR things with your next generation phone that might be coming out in the next year or two might be really kind of cool. Right. And you're not making any type of gesture, which is good.
Nope.
You're doing really good at this. Awesome.
I play poker.
Cool. That's awesome. Very cool. And I think it's funny is that we talked about it a little bit on some other episodes, this idea of you were working at Google, but in Seattle. And a lot of people don't think of Google in Seattle. They think of Google in the Bay Area of California. And so why is Google in that part of Seattle? Or why is that part of Google in Seattle, I should say?
I just think in general, Seattle is starting to become a pretty big hub for tech.
Yeah.
Microsoft,
Amazon,
Audrey, you were at Microsoft, Amazon, and Microsoft both are headquartered in Seattle as opposed to the Bay Area. And, you know, I think a lot of people are like moving in and like check. There's a lot of talent there already. And I think part of my team was also in the Bay Area. So like we just kind of communicated that way. And it's just how things fall usually. But I think there's tons of people over there in general. A lot of cloud specifically, I think. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Google just opened a new office in South Lake Union, which
Yeah.
is specifically just for cloud, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I saw them building that, yeah.
Interesting.
Right? They just built it.
Yeah,
right?
they just
Okay.
built it right next to Facebook.
Yeah,
Interesting. All of the cloud. So the
Yeah.
cloud is Seattle.
I wouldn't say
literally
is.
and
Figuratively.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's the cloud.
It's just covered in clouds. And
Clouds
that's where
of
we're going
all
to do our
kinds.
cloud computing work.
Yeah, no, so much. It's insane.
Well, awesome. And Audrey, what's going on with you right now?
Oh, you know, just
Making your way through?
yeah, making my way through. It is insane. The semester's gone by so quickly. I was like looking at the calendar. It's like, oh my goodness, next week is fall break. Then it's like Thanksgiving. Then it's over.
And this is the first semester y'all are doing fall break.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
So how many days is it?
it's Thursday and Friday off next week.
Right.
Yeah.
So just Thursday, Friday off. And
Yeah.
Given that this is your first fall break, what are you planning on doing with 2 extra days? Is that just like downtime here around campus, or are you going somewhere? Or what's happening?
My plans have not been solidified. I wanted to go home, but my parents said no. So,
You cannot.
because I'm going the next weekend to go to the CU Boulder game.
Got it.
So that was like a
You
little
get
much.
2 weeks in a row, yeah.
That was a little much. So I appreciate that. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go somewhere else in Southern California.
Just take a little mini
like a
retreat.
beach day, maybe. I don't know, something like
Go
that.
down to San Diego, do something down there.
yeah.
That'd be cool. Or go up, Central
Maybe
Coast.
Santa Barbara, maybe.
Yeah, Santa Barbara would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. What about you, Liz?
I'm in Seattle, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought about going to Seattle. I
Yeah.
looked at flights, but then I didn't.
Are you going for fun, or are you
For
going
funsies,
to
yeah.
daydream?
I'm going. Well, I'm going for funsies. I'm just
Cool.
connecting with like the people that I met there over the summer and going with a couple friends. I'm so surprised that so many of my friends are like, "Oh yeah, I just like lived in Seattle for like 3 years."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?" Everyone's there.
Yeah.
all
there
of a
are
sudden.
a lot of people at USC from Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest in
crazy.
general. It's a lot of people. Seattle, Portland, is a lot that comes from that.
I didn't realize, but now I know.
Awesome. Well, very cool. Well, I hope you all enjoy your fall break and have a great time. I don't even know what that means for us, to be honest with you. Like, it was in a meeting the other day, and someone says, "Well, that's fall break." I'm like, What is fall break? I don't know what this means. This is all new. Well, enjoy that and have a great time. And if you're out there still thinking about applying, make sure that your application get submitted by December 1st. Obviously, that's at the Common App, so just make sure you're listing USC as one of your schools. And if you haven't done so already, our big on-campus open house is Saturday, November 16th. That is Discover USC, and as part of Discover USC, we hold a large event called the Viterbi Expo. And the Viterbi Expo is a big open house with lab tours and micro seminars from faculty, and all of our students will be there, just sharing their experiences and helping you understand a little bit more about what this place is about. So if you haven't had a chance to come visit campus or would like to learn a little bit more before you submit your application, Discover USC on Saturday, November 16th is the best way to do that. Check out our website for more details, viterbiadmission.usc.edu/expo, viterbiadmission.usc.edu/expo. We'll give you all the details related to the Viterbi Expo and Discover USC. So outside of that, I think that's it for us, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's sign off, and we'll see you next time.